Where's Blake? So you guys can leave music. Yeah, just go ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, the ceremony is about to begin. Please take this time to find your seat. Silence all electronic devices. Thank you. You guys can play another song if you want. You can play another song. We're still waiting on a couple people. No. No. Honored guests, family, friends, fellow chiefs, staff, crew of PCU Arizona, shipmates, good evening and welcome to this special occasion, marking the launch of the USS Arizona Legacy Foundation. I am Master Chief Jonathan Van Noy, an active duty submariner, Arizona native, and your Master of Ceremonies. Tonight, you will witness some time-honored naval traditions, and as such, we ask that you silence, put away your phones, and enjoy the show. Will the guests please rise for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the parading of the colors, our national anthem, and the invocation. Military personnel in attendance but not part of the official party or ceremony should remain uncovered. Nikki Stratton, sponsor, USS Arizona, arriving. Arizona, arriving. Rear Admiral, United States Navy, arriving. The Honorable Katie Hobbs, Governor of the State of Arizona, arriving. Color Guard, parade the colors. Color Guard, retire the colors.
Ready, hot. Order, color. Ready, hot. Right, face. Port, arms. Post.
Chaplain Jim Paplachek will now deliver the invocation.
Let's bow our heads in prayer. Father God, we thank you for this opportunity to gather together for the launch and to meet the crew of the new USS Arizona. We pause to remember all those who gave their all in service to our country on December 7th, 1941, and since. Help us to be ever mindful of their sacrifice, and may this boat and her crew be a living testament to them. Amen.
Guests, please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here to celebrate and honor a very special name, Arizona. It's a name given to the 48th state of the Union. It's a name that has also become synonymous with the December 7th, 1941 attack in Pearl Harbor, a day which will live in infamy. But today, like a phoenix, it rises again to represent the latest advancements in submarine warfare. I have had the opportunity over the years to hear a great many stories about that day in 1941, many of them first-hand accounts. Even now, after 82 years, we have not forgotten. With the construction of the new attack submarine Arizona, we carry that legacy far into the future. The submarine force was largely ignored during the attack on Pearl Harbor. That was a mistake. By the end of the war, submarines, which made up less than 2% of U.S. naval forces, had wiped out half of the enemy's shipping. The submarine force's performance during the war cemented their importance to our national defense and set the stage for what would become our nation's most important strategic asset. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce today's host for this launch ceremony, Ms. Tanya Wheelis. A native of Arizona, Tanya has 20 years of senior leadership experience. She practiced law before being named president and CEO of the Arizona Bakers Association. She then joined the Phoenix Suns as a senior vice president before leaving to start her own consulting business. Most recently, Tanya served as the deputy chief of staff for U.S. Senator Martha McSally and even took her own run at elected office. Please join me in a warm welcome for the president and CEO at the USS Arizona Legacy Foundation, Ms. Tanya Wheelis.
Good evening. Thank you all for being here. This celebration has been many years in the making, and I'm not just talking about going back to the very first USS Arizona. I'm talking about this foundation. In 2019, when Secretary Moodley announced that this Virginia-class sub, SSN 803, would bear the name Arizona, work was undertaken immediately to begin putting together an organization, this foundation, that would be worthy of the name Arizona and the men who came before and the crew that will come after. Those first efforts were led by ship sponsor Nikki Stratton and have been carried on by our chairman, Barbara Barrett. We are now at this glorious day where we are announcing to you our work and the mission that we have, which is threefold. The first is to serve as a commissioning committee for this fine submarine and to support it as it's christened and commissioned and celebrate those milestones. The second is to educate both our children and the community about the events of December 7th, 1941, so that they are never forgotten, nor are her gallant men forgotten. And finally, it is to support the crew. And I hope that all of you got a chance to meet the crew members that are here with us tonight. It will be our mission to continue to support them now and for the life of the boat as they sacrifice and their families sacrifice to keep us safe at home and abroad. Now, undertakings like this do not happen alone, and we have got the great steady hand of a wonderful board of directors and also community engagement. I would like to especially acknowledge those community partners who have invested early and significantly in our work and share our commitment to the mission. They are the APS Foundation, the Arizona Cardinals, the Craig and Barbara Barrett Foundation, Tri-West Healthcare Alliance, and Western Alliance Bank. Please help me in thanking them. Now, as you look around this room to your right and to your left, you probably know the person you came with, but my guess is there's a stranger nearby. That stranger might be a retired admiral, a former submariner, a veteran from one of our other armed forces branches, and maybe an elected official. But what you all have in common is your love and support for our country in this boat. We thank you all for being here and want to extend a special thank you, Governor Hobbs, for being with us here this night, and to all of the elected officials who took time out of your busy schedules to join us. Thank you very much. And finally, this evening is about celebration. I mean, we've got the Navy band here. I mean, what says a party like a live band? But we are going to kick off the official program with a special video presentation. I hope you all enjoy it. Thank you, and we look forward to continuing our relationship with you.
December 7th, 1941. The Japanese launched a surprise attack on Pearl Harbor. A great many American ships were lost, the USS Arizona BB-39 battleship among them. 1,177 of the battleship's crew were tragically killed. Today, the battleship rests on the ocean floor, a solemn reminder of their sacrifice. But from the tragedy emerged resilience. We honor the USS Arizona's legacy with a new guardian of the seas, the USS Arizona, reborn as a Virginia-class submarine. This submarine class is equipped with advanced stealth and weapons technology, nuclear power, and capable of speeds up to 25 nautical miles per hour. Its mission is to seek and destroy, protect through deterrence, and enable our special forces. This is enhanced with new littoral and periscope capabilities. This is no ordinary vessel. 4 ships have borne the Arizona name, yet this is the first to carry this title since the loss of the sunken battleship. No matter the destination of their mission, the crew of the USS Arizona carries the spirit of home with them, forever connected to Arizona's legacy. Our foundation stands committed to supporting the crew and educating the public on the past, present, and future of their service. On behalf of the USS Arizona Legacy Foundation, we thank you for your support. Fair winds and following seas.
Thank you, Tanya. Next, I would like to introduce Barbara Barrett, former Secretary of the Air Force and Chair of the USS Arizona Legacy Foundation.
So there might be some question about why an Air Force secretary would be here on an occasion like this. But ladies and gentlemen, this is a very exciting occasion to have the next United States submarine, a Virginia-class plus capability that will be named for our great state, the state of Arizona. So I'm especially proud to chair the effort for the USS Arizona Legacy Foundation. And ladies and gentlemen, this is something that all Arizonans can unite behind, and it's a very exciting thing for our great state. So I'm, despite that Air Force and Space Force partiality that I might carry broadly on my sleeve, I'm especially proud to join with the United States Navy on this special occasion, and with the United States Marine Corps for the role that they will play in this process. The United States Navy, thank you very much, and Marine Corps, same, thank you very much. So the legacy of USS Arizona is significant. Best known the BB-39, that ship that lies in Pearl Harbor, the loss of which was the opening salvo of America's involvement in World War II. We're proud today of the role that the United States played in that war, and when we think about the freedoms that we enjoy, without that incident, we might have remained the isolationist nation that we had started to be. But we knew what needed to be done. We were attacked, and we rose to the occasion, and Arizona was the name that bears the beginning of that occasion. So now we have the SSN, the new SSN 803. That submarine is going to be carrying on that legacy. And with the help of ship sponsor Nikki Stratton, who you'll hear from, a portion of the USS Arizona battleship is going to be a part of the submarine. So at the day of the keel laying, there was a welding of a portion of the battleship attached to the submarine, and therefore that legacy will live on. So it's a very important occasion. It's a great honor for the state of Arizona to have our name on this, the best of the best of the entire United States Navy when it's commissioned. So this is a very special occasion, a very special opportunity for our great state. And to celebrate that with us is our governor. And it's my privilege to introduce Governor Katie Hobbs. Allow me to say just a few words about our governor. Born and raised in Arizona, Governor Hobbs graduated from NAU and ASU. So we're especially pleased to have those, at least two of our three big universities in one governor. She spent 8 years in the Arizona legislature, including 2 terms as the Senate Minority Leader, and later became Arizona's Secretary of State. In 2022, she was elected as the 5th woman and also the 5th native Arizonan to lead the state. So, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate very much the governor being here, and we look forward to hearing her comments and her words of support for the USS Arizona. Governor Katie Hobbs. Thank you, Darren.
Good evening, everyone. It is an honor to be with you on this momentous occasion. Commander Deegan, it is with great pride that I welcome you and members of your crew to the Grand Canyon State. We also have the honor of being joined by Phoenix native Rear Admiral Mark Benning, who currently serves as the director of the Undersea Warfare Division. Here in Arizona, national defense is a central part of who we are. From Fort Huachuca to Davis-Monthan, Luke Air Force Base to Yuma Proving Ground, we are proud to play such an important role in our nation's military. For many, Arizona is synonymous with strength, independence, and persistence. Being here today, I can't help but think of the late Senator John McCain, who embodied those values as a statesman and as a Navy officer. As we are gathered here today, let us remember his legacy and celebrate this new chapter for the U.S. Navy and our state. It has been a long time since Arizona has had the honor of having a ship commissioned by the Navy. And the last USS Arizona was no minor ship. At the time, it was the most heavily armed vessel and also the largest, and even escorted President Woodrow Wilson to the Paris Peace Conference. It's no surprise then that on December 7th, 1941, when Pearl Harbor was attacked, the brave crew members of the Arizona answered the call. The attack on Pearl Harbor was devastating, taking the lives of over 2,400 U.S. personnel, nearly half of which were on the USS Arizona. Today, we are joined by the great-granddaughter of one of the survivors, Nikki Stratton, who is also the ship's sponsor. Nikki, I know we just passed the 4-year anniversary of when we lost your father, so I'd like to ask that we take a moment of silence to honor First Class Seaman Donald Stratton for his bravery, kindness, and patriotism. Thank you. Today, we are celebrating the official launch of the USS Arizona Legacy Foundation. Led by Tanya Willis and Barbara Barrett, the foundation will play a central role in making sure the USS Arizona is celebrated and its crew is well taken care of. Tanya and Barbara, thank you to you and your team for all the hard work you have done and will continue to do to make this happen. I know they are in good hands. To take a line from the foundation, today we are honoring the past and forging the future. There aren't enough words to truly express how honored I am to be here and how honored the entire state of Arizona is to have SSN 803 bear its name. Commander Deegan, I hope you and your crew are able to spend some time exploring our beautiful state. And please tell the rest of your crew who are not able to join us today that they have a home here in Arizona. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. God bless Arizona. God bless the United States of America. And God bless our troops.
Next, I'd like to introduce Glenn T. Gray, Vice President, Military and Veteran Engagement, Tri-West Healthcare Alliance.
Good evening. It's my pleasure this evening to introduce Ms. Nikki Stratton, the ship sponsor of the USS Arizona, SSN 803. Ms. Stratton is the youngest granddaughter of USS Arizona survivor Donald Stratton. Growing up, she developed a strong love for her grandfather's story and attended many Pearl Harbor Day remembrances with him and with her family. In 2020, at her grandfather's funeral, then Secretary of the Navy Thomas Modly asked Ms. Stratton to serve as the USS Arizona's submarine ship sponsor, making her an honorary position and a permanent member of the crew. She enthusiastically accepted and has made it her mission to satisfy her grandfather's dying wish that the men of the USS Arizona and Pearl Harbor never be forgotten. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Miss Nikki Stratton.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, honored guests, for being here tonight. I'm grateful to serve as sponsor for the USS Arizona SSN 803. It is a position that I never thought I would find myself in. My story began nearly 82 years ago with the bombing of Pearl Harbor and the USS Arizona battleship. My grandfather was a 19-year-old sailor living and serving aboard her. His battleship was the portside anti-aircraft director, and when the 1,700-pound bomb, high-altitude bomb, ignited over 1 million gallons of aviation fuel and black powder, sending the Arizona into the air, slamming back down to the sea for below. My grandfather was one of the lucky ones. Over 1,100 American sailors and Marines lost their lives in a single heartbeat. 38 sets of brothers were aboard Arizona. And of the 38, 23 sets perished. And only 4 brothers' bodies were recovered for burial. An entire generation wiped out in an instant. For those lucky enough to survive the blast, they were now trapped on a sinking ship, surrounded by an inferno of fire. At its hottest point, the steel of the USS Arizona was the same temperature as lava coming out of the Kilauea volcano, about 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. For my grandfather and 4 others, they were trapped inside of that director, the soles of their shoes melting, their clothing covered in burns, ash, oil, and bullet holes. They had no way off the Arizona. All my grandfather saw was death and destruction, his shipmates, brothers, friends being burned alive and eaten by sharks and gunned down by the Japanese fighter pilots. What hope did 5 sailors trapped have? Their hope and salvation came from a man by the name of Joe George, throwing a line from the neighboring ship, the USS Vestal. A single throw rippled across history, and 83 years ago today to where I stand before you all. My grandfather climbed hand over hand across burning water to the relative safety of the Vestal and was transported to a triage unit set up. When he could finally stand on his own again, his enlistment weight of 160 pounds had diminished to a mere 82 pounds. His hair was gone, his right ear was nearly gone, and 65% of his body was covered in 2nd and 3rd degree burns. His right arm paralyzed with the worst of the injuries. After numerous surgeries, treatments, he was medically discharged from the Navy. But he wasn't done with the fight. He wanted revenge. 9 months later, fit and strong again, he enlisted in the Navy, joining back up and heading deep into the Pacific aboard the USS Stack, both starting and finishing World War II. This account is merely one chapter in the saga of Pearl Harbor and the USS Arizona, but there are 1,510 more, each contributing to her lasting memory. With a lone survivor remaining, Luke Hunter, it falls upon us, and in particular me, to ensure those memories endure, as my grandfather wished before he passed away. As the sponsor of the new USS Arizona for the upcoming generation, I am grateful for the opportunity to fulfill that lasting duty. In my role as sponsor, I am granted a singular chance unlike any other in the Navy. I am tasked with bridging a great gap of 83 years, connecting the storied past of BB-39 and the present construction of SSN 803. Through this role, I have the privilege of weaving tales from history into the fabric of today, ensuring that the sacrifices and stories of USS Arizona sailors are immortalized and never fade into oblivion. Each vessel within the U.S. Navy possesses its distinct culture, history, and identity. Yet the Arizona stands apart, straddling the divide between past and present. It bears a weighty legacy, but with the current crew assembled, led by the remarkable Commander Deegan, together we will ensure that this incredible lineage we uphold remains steadfast. As we cast our gaze downward towards the horizon of tomorrow, let us never lose sight of our beginnings, the source of our freedom, the sacrifices made to secure it. The USS Arizona commanded the seas with formidable presence, and now the new generation will wield its power beneath the waves, carrying forth the memory and vengeance of 1,511 sailors who went before them. Thank you for choosing to be a part of this incredible and historic opportunity. Your support with USS Arizona will ensure that. In closing, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude for each one of you here today, gracing us with your presence, and hear from your unwavering dedication to both past and present. As we reflect on the storied history of USS Arizona, we look towards the future, and it becomes abundantly clear that our mission is far from over. The continued support of individuals like yourselves is vital to ensure that the memories of USS Arizona and her crew endure for generations to come. Together, let us honor the past, embrace the present, and chart a new course towards a brighter future for USS Arizona. Thank you again for being part of this meaningful journey. Your presence here today is deeply appreciated. Long live the USS Arizona, and long may she rule the deep. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Nikki, for your service and for your sacrifice. Next, I'd like to introduce Tim Bruckner, Chief Banking Officer, Western Alliance Bank. And it looks like he might have got caught up doing something else, so I will do it here. So hello. Tonight I have the honor of introducing you to the first commander of the USS Arizona, SSN 803, Tom Diggin. Commander Diggin is a 2005 graduate of Penn State University and a 2012 graduate of Old Dominion University. Prior to taking over command of the Arizona, he served on several submarines, including as executive officer of the USS San Juan. Commander Diggin's short assignments have taken him from Naples, Italy, to the Department of Defense in Washington, D.C. He has had the privilege of serving on multiple decorated submarine crews, and he has personally been awarded the Defense Superior Service Medal 6 times and the Navy Marine Corps Commendation Medal 3 times. Please join me in giving a warm Arizona welcome to Commander Tom Diggin.
Thank you. Good evening. It is an absolute honor to be part of the ceremony today, the USS Arizona Legacy Foundation launch event at the Arizona Heritage Center. Thank you for inviting me to speak. I am honored to take part in this special ceremony to celebrate the next chapter of the Arizona Legacy Foundation with our submarine, the USS Arizona SSN 803. Rear Admiral Benning, thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule in Washington as the Director, Undersea Warfare Division, Office of the Chief of Naval Operations in 97. And Ms. Stratton, thank you again for being here today, for making a commitment to connect the future of the submarine Arizona and her crew, just as your grandfather, Donald Stratton, committed himself to the crew of the battleship Arizona over 82 years ago. We thank Governor Hobbs for taking the time out of her busy schedule to celebrate the start of a new chapter in the submarine force and the Navy with the next USS Arizona. It's great to come out of the snow of New England. We are based out of Groton, Connecticut, and there was snow on the ground when we left, and it's wonderful in Arizona in February. So we are very thankful for that. And it's just been a beautiful, beautiful city. It's our first trip as a crew. Nobody's been to Phoenix before, so it's really special. There are 4 other sailors with me from our Fast Attack Submarine Arizona here today. Our chief of the boat, Master Chief Dave Jackson, Lieutenant Jared Collins, our chemistry and radiological assistant, Petty Officer Piscopo, a mechanic, and Petty Officer Romero, an electrician. All of us are excited to be here today in the Grand Canyon State and this week to take part in this launch event and in Navy Week Phoenix. This is our first time in Phoenix, and it's already very special. It's an honor for us to be the initial crew of the next USS Arizona. Not since the famous battleship Arizona BB-39 over 82 years ago has there been a warship named after the great state of Arizona, and it is not lost on any of us that we are the first Arizona crew since that fateful day at Pearl Harbor on December 7th, 1941, the day that will live in infamy. Our first Arizona sailors last year arrived, and we immediately got to work building the foundational programs and routines of our command. Currently, our crew consists primarily of engineering department and the executive department, and as the construction process continues, we will grow with additional manning, adding navigation and weapons departments, leading to a final crew size of approximately 135 sailors. This sequence plan will ensure that sailors are at peak readiness as the construction process is completed, culminating in sea trials, commissioning, and the delivery of the first VPM Virginia-class fast attack submarine, the USS Arizona, to the fleet. As sailors arrive from all over the United States, still none from Arizona yet, this is the first command for many of them. And as some of you may know, we have started some command traditions already to include our SSN 803 Day. This command holiday is now celebrated every August 3rd with a command holiday and an event for sailors and their families. We are looking forward to growing this command and working with Electric Boat as the new construction of USS Arizona continues. Electric Boat is a private shipyard based in Groton, Connecticut, and is the lead shipyard contracted to build submarines for the United States. Over the next few years, Electric Boat will have portions of our boat ready, and we will focus on testing and taking control of our submarine, eventually taking USS Arizona to sea. To ensure our sailors are ready for testing and are first underway, we are taking every available opportunity to grow and develop them. We already have members of our crew attending additional Navy schools and spending time on other operational submarines to ensure their level of knowledge is exceptional. They will benefit personally from these experiences and significantly learn from these and return to Arizona to share their knowledge and increase Arizona's overall readiness. We're also proud of being the first Virginia-class submarine with a unique Virginia Payload Module, the VPM, to eventually enter the fleet. The Virginia Payload Module is a new module located in the center of the submarine with 4 large missile tubes extending the submarine length by 85 feet, providing us with more than 3 times the amount of firepower than the current Virginia-class submarine design, making our submarine one of the most lethal fast attack submarines ever built. Along with being named after the great state of Arizona and being the first Virginia-class fast attack submarine with the Virginia Payload Module, we believe what makes us most unique is being able to carry on the great legacy of those that came before us from the battleship USS Arizona BB-39. The memory of that fateful day in December of 1941 is one drenched in blood, sweat, and tears of our shipmates, but the gallant men of the battleship Arizona ultimately fought through that tragic day with acts of heroism and valor. Their actions that day epitomize our Navy's motto of honor, courage, and commitment. Their selfless dedication to those core values set the example we should strive to achieve every day. This is the legacy that every sailor on board the battleship Arizona has passed to the next crew honored to share its name, the Arizona submarine crew that we stood up this last July. Following our nation's thrust into World War II, the submarine force played a crucial role in avenging the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor. After the Pacific Fleet was brought to its knees, the submarine force took the fight to the Empire of Japan, helping to conquer the tide of war in the Pacific. Submarines such as the USS Barb, SS-220, USS Wahoo, SS-238, and USS Tang, SS-306, led the way and left many of us awestruck by their stories of heroism and valor. Their submarines still are the example of courage, and they continue to humble submariners in today's force. It is fitting that the next submarine is a fast attack submarine, which will be ready to take the fight to any enemy in the Western Pacific or around the globe if called upon. We are all very thankful and proud to be named after such a strong and patriotic state, and the next naval warship named Arizona after the legendary battleship. May we never forget those who gave the ultimate sacrifice on the battleship Arizona, and may God bless the crew of the submarine Arizona, the submarine force, the Navy, and our nation. Thank you.
Thank you, Commander Deegan. Okay, next I'd like to introduce Jeff Goldner. Jeff, he's the chairman of the board, president, and chief executive officer of Pinnacle West Capital Corp., and chairman of the board and chief executive officer of Arizona Public Service Company.
Thank you, Master Chief. Tonight I've got the pleasure of introducing an Arizona native, and you've heard already from our governor and from the commander. We have Rear Admiral Mark Benning, who's Director of Undersea Warfare Division in the Office of the Chief of Naval Operations. Admiral Benning is a 1990 graduate of the United States Naval Academy. He holds a Master of Arts degree in National Security and Strategic Studies from the Naval War College. His sea tours include leadership assignments on several submarines, and he served as Commodore of Submarine Squadron 17 in Bangor, Washington. His shore duties include stints as the Tomahawk Strike Officer for Commander U.S. Naval Forces Europe, Assistant Force Nuclear Power Officer for Commander Submarine Forces Atlantic, and Deputy Commander of Submarine Squadron 17, among others. Admiral Benning has also held several flag assignments prior to taking on his current role. Please join me in welcoming back to Arizona our own Rear Admiral Mark Benning.
All right. Well, thank you and good evening. Thank you so much for the invitation to be here tonight to participate in this great event and to take just a few moments and hopefully talk to you a little bit about the Navy, the submarine force in particular, where we are and where we're going. So before I begin, though, I'd like to express my appreciation to the USS Arizona Legacy Association, or Foundation, I'm sorry, and all the great work they're doing. Supporting a submarine and a crew is a large undertaking. When that submarine proudly bears the name USS Arizona, that goes even another level. So thank you so much for what you do for the crew. The significance of that name was clearly highlighted by Ms. Stratton's remarks. So thank you, Tanya, and this incredible team for running the Arizona Legacy Foundation with true professionalism and great pride for USS Arizona represents. So USS Arizona, SSN 803, will enter an elite fraternity of nuclear-powered submarines and warships that have represented the people of this state. So the U.S. Navy submariners sailed in USS Phoenix, SSN 702, conducting operations around the globe from 1981 until her decommissioning in 1998. USS Tucson, SSN 770, was launched in 1994 and continues to operate today thanks to her tremendous stealth, endurance, mobility, and responsiveness, making her a formidable force multiplier in multiple mission areas. The next to join the line, this elite group of nuclear warships, is USS Arizona, SSN 803. And as you heard from Commander Deegan update, the crew is doing fantastic. They are working hard to bring her to life with the right culture, and they're just doing a great job. So she will be out in the water as soon as they can get her there. So these highly capable nuclear power submarines are major contributors in ensuring the United States has the most powerful Navy in the world. And we have that to help preserve world peace, respond when there is a crisis, and should they be called upon to win decisively in combat. This mission is carried out by having U.S. Navy forces operating far forward, around the world and around the clock. On any given day, this amounts to about 100 warships forward deployed, operating with our allies and partners, whenever and wherever international law allows. From the seabed to space, in cyberspace, and in the information environment, we promote our nation's prosperity and security. We deter aggression. We provide options for our nation's leaders. We achieve this through our vitally important mission to maintain, train, and equip combat-ready naval forces capable of deterring aggression, winning wars, and maintaining the freedom of the seas. The Navy delivers power for peace, but is always postured to fight and win. As a Director of Undersea Warfare, my priorities are aligned to and support the National Defense Strategy, the Navy's mission, and directly support the Chief of Naval Operations' drive to deliver America's warfighting Navy. My undersea warfare priorities are that we maintain our advantage through the delivery of a survivable and secure strategic deterrent, that we maximize the lethality of our undersea forces, and that we enable distributed warfare in and from under the sea. These priorities are designed to provide an undersea forces that are lethal, persistent, and high-end combat capabilities the Joint Force needs. Submarines are a critical part of the Joint Force, and as such will be expected to closely coordinate operations and integrate with Navy and joint partners, including space, cyber, special operating forces, and even the Air Force. And while at the same time, our unique stealth, endurance, our combat capability, our capacity, and our access mean that we must be ready to operate alone, far forward, in areas that the adversary attempt to deny us access, with little communications, relying only on our organic sensors and our own weapons battery. So the first priority was to deliver the Navy's ballistic missile submarine and maintain that strategic deterrent. The Navy's ballistic missile submarines provide the most survivable leg of the nation's strategic triad, carrying approximately 70% of the nation's nuclear arsenal. As such, maintaining a credible and effective sea-based strategic deterrent is essential to our national security. We are doing this through investments that sustain the 14 Ohio-class ballistic missile submarines and through their amazing 42-year life, as well as, in parallel, delivering the replacement Columbia-class ballistic missile submarine on time and at affordable cost. This effort also includes recapitalizing our strategic weapons systems, the missile system, through the development and introduction of the Trident II D5 Life Extension II program. My next priority is maximizing the lethality of our undersea forces. The unmatched lethality and capability of our attack submarines, or our SSNs, provides the joint force a true asymmetric advantage, and as a result, we are in high demand across the globe with combatant commanders. The priority to maximize lethality cuts across several lines of effort, starting with strengthening our submarine industrial base. Working with our acquisition community and industry, we are laser focused on improving our attack submarine operational availability by investing in parts. This is both having more of them and having them in the right spots, and by investing in repair capacity and capability to shorten the time it takes to maintain and conduct necessary maintenance periods. All of this is designed to return these amazing submarines back to the fleet to support worldwide operations. In addition to the platform, we're also focused on our weapons, the mainstay of which is our advanced capability, or ADCAP heavyweight torpedo. We are both increasing the number, or the inventory of those, as well as at the same time continuing to improve their capabilities to address potential adversary advancements and challenges. Additionally, while the Virginia class is a fantastic submarine, it is unmatched and truly eye-watering performance at sea. It is also time for us to begin investment in the research and development needed to deliver the next generation of submarines, or SSNX, with key attributes needed to continue to succeed and dominate into the future. Finally, the oceans remain a challenging environment, and to truly maximize our lethality, our undersea forces must continue to deliver all of the other advanced weapon systems, payloads, and sensors, both manned and unmanned. This is not only limited to what is carried on board our submarines, but includes recapitalizing and expanding our wide area integrated undersea surveillance system around the globe. Final priority is to enhance distributed warfare in and from under the sea. So should it occur, we expect and we want any major combat operations to be an away game, with the undersea forces enabling the joint force and supporting them. Potential adversaries understand this and are investing in weapons and platforms designed to deny us access and inhibit our ability to maneuver in that battle space. The unique combination of stealth and endurance allows the submarine force to operate far forward inside an adversary's defensive perimeter and deliver effects including precision strike, anti-submarine warfare, anti-surface warfare, seabed warfare, mining, and the delivery of special operating forces. To achieve this, we are focused on delivering a diverse family of unmanned undersea vehicles, or UUVs, with tailorable payloads to provide secure cross-domain communications. We are also integrated artificial intelligence and machine learning, not just in our unmanned systems, but also in our capital platforms. This continued investment is critical to both advancing unmanned capability and improving manned operations. Combined, these three priorities will help us ensure we maintain our undersea overmatch so that we can effectively deter and compete while also being ready to conduct prompt and persistent combat operations if required. So hopefully my remarks here tonight provided you just a little bit better insight into the submarine force and an understanding of how the Navy and the submarine force is working to maintain our dominance. Also highlight the special role that USS Arizona will play in maintaining the peace and the amazing capability that she and her crew will provide in defense of this nation. So thank you for your support of the U.S. Navy and the crew of USS Arizona, and thank you for the opportunity to be here and highlight the amazing work that the U.S. Navy and Submarine Force are doing. Thank you.
Now a word from our host, Tanya Wheelis.
Thank you, Jonathan. As I mentioned in my opening, there is nothing of this magnitude that can be done alone. And so I'd like to take just a moment to recognize our board of directors who have not only been guiding this endeavor with their wisdom and energy, but are going to take us very far into the future. So as I say your name, if you would please stand and be recognized. Matthew Previtz, Gordon James, C.A. Howlett, Jeff Goldner, Lori Florkowitz, our Vice Chair, Mike Hekimovich, and of course, our Chair, Barbara Barrett. Thank you all for your service and dedication.
Tonight, you may have noticed the artifacts on display around the building. These artifacts have come from various places around the state and country to be displayed tonight. But I'd like to draw your attention to a particular artifact here on the stage and tell you a story of this particular relic's journey. Pennsylvania, 1914. Workers from all walks of life begin their day mining ore in the hills and mountains of the Rust Belt. The steel mills throughout the region working tirelessly to refine this ore into the fuel of an industrial powerhouse of shipbuilding. Most of this steel is destined for the formidable shipbuilding facilities along the east coast of the United States. Some of it found its way to the Brooklyn Navy Yard and was set to work forming the battleship Arizona. The keel of the battleship number 39, hull number BB39, was laid on the morning of 16 March 1914, with Assistant Secretary of Navy Franklin Delano Roosevelt in attendance for what the New York Times declared would be the world's biggest and most powerful super dreadnought ever constructed. She was launched on 19 June 1915 and commissioned to the Navy on the 17th of October 1916, 3 days before the U.S. declared war on Germany. Arizona, however, would remain on the east coast of the U.S. until the fighting ended on 11 November 1918. A week later, the ship left the United States for the United Kingdom, arriving on 30 November 1918. After 2 weeks berthed at Portland Harbor in Dorset, Arizona sailed for France. On 13 December, Arizona joined 9 battleships and 28 destroyers escorting President Woodrow Wilson on the ocean liner George Washington into Brest for 1 day of Wilson's journey to the Paris Peace Conference. The 10 battleships departed France the next day, taking less than 2 weeks to cross the Atlantic, and arrived in New York on the 26th of December to parades and celebrations. Arizona sailed from New York for Hampton Roads in January of 1919 and continued south to Guantanamo Bay in February. The time in the Caribbean waters was mostly used in training for battles and fleet maneuvering. Although it included a Liberty visit in the port of Spain, she was redeployed to Smyrna, now Izmir, in Turkey, in response to tensions between Greece and Italy. Shortly after Arizona arrived, Greek ground forces arrived in transports and were offloaded in the port. The resultant chaos in the city caused many American citizens in the area to seek shelter on board Arizona. When the crisis abated, Arizona was ordered to Constantinople, now Istanbul, before she sailed for home on the 15th of June. She put into New York Navy Yard on 30 June for an overhaul. Arizona was sent south to transit the Panama Canal in January of 1921. After meeting up with the Pacific Fleet, Arizona continued on to Peru for a visit before she began operating out of her new home port of San Pedro, California, part of Los Angeles, where she was based until 1940. On 19 March 1931, Arizona hosted President Herbert Hoover for a brief vacation in the Caribbean. The president visited Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. Returning in March, Arizona conducted overhauls in Rockland, Maine, and at the Puget Sound Naval Shipyard in Bremerton, Washington. At its conclusion, the United States Pacific Fleet, along with the Arizona, was retained in Hawaiian waters, based out of Pearl Harbor, to deter the Japanese. Shortly before 0800 local time, on 7 December 1941, Japanese aircraft from 6 aircraft carriers struck the Pacific Fleet as it lay in port at Pearl Harbor and wreaked devastation on the warships and installations defending Hawaii. A bomb hit at 0806 in the vicinity of Turret 2, likely penetrating the armored deck near the magazines located in the forward section of the ship. About 7 seconds after the hit, the forward magazine detonated in a cataclysmic explosion, venting through the sides of the ship and destroying much of the interior structure of the forward part of the ship. This caused the forward turrets and conning tower to collapse downward and the foremast and funnel to collapse forward, effectively tearing the ship in two. The explosion touched off fierce fires that burned for 2 days. Debris showered down on Ford Island and the vicinity. Arizona was lost, 1,177 souls sharing her fate. Arizona was placed in ordinary, declared to be temporarily out of service, at Pearl Harbor on 29 December, and was stricken from the Naval Vessel Registry on 1 December 1942. She was so badly damaged that it was not thought fit for service, even if she could be salvaged, unlike many of the other sunken ships nearby. Her surviving superstructure was scrapped in 1942 and placed in a laydown area near Pearl Harbor, where it remains to this day. In December 2016, at the 75th anniversary ceremony, Ken Potts, a Pearl Harbor survivor and Arizona sailor, participated in a small ceremony at the locations of the remains of the superstructure. There, he was presented with a small piece of steel from the ship. The bullet-riddled steel made its way to Utah, where it remained on display in the Potts home until after his passing in April 2023. In October 2023, Miss Doris Potts, wife of Ken, donated the steel to the Arizona Legacy Foundation with direction to bring new life into this steel and give the legacy new meaning. The steel was sent to a shop in Colorado Springs where grains of steel were painstakingly removed from the inboard side, enough to cast a new object. Enough grains had been collected. 1,177 or so of these grains were cast into a shell of bronze. A new insignia was created, a Command at Sea insignia. Captain Deegan, request you join me on the stage with Barbara and Nikki, front and center. There's a piece of tape right there, sir. Certificate of presentation to all those who shall see these presents. Greetings. Know ye that in special recognition of the history of the great ship of USS Arizona, and in further recognition of the degree of power, authority, and responsibility duty as commanding officer of a U.S. Navy vessel requires, we, the U.S. Arizona Legacy Foundation, present you with this Command at Sea pin cast from the USS Arizona BB-39 steel. As you wear this pin, let it be a reminder to you of the incredible sacrifices made by the crew of BB-39 and the legacy for which you are now a part of and carry with you. You are hereby authorized to wear this pin until such time as you are relieved of your duties, at which time you will turn it over to your relief. Given on this 26th day of February in the year of our Lord 2024, signed Nikki Stratton, ship sponsor, and Barbara Barrett, chair, USS Arizona Legacy Foundation. You can never practice this enough. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you have enjoyed tonight's program as we officially launch the USS Arizona Legacy Foundation. The foundation will ensure that the past is never forgotten and that the crew of SSN 803 is supported now and into the future. We thank you for your presence tonight and encourage you to join us on this important mission. Thank you. Arizona, or correction, 803, up and